Today, we're going to be taking a look at the Calendar Robot Select Edition. We'll start off with a very simple setup and progress to more complex configurations. The Calendar Robot provides an automated one-way connection between Select and Exchange or Office 365 calendars. Let's begin by taking a peek at what its output might look like. Here, we have automatically included a lot of critical file information. This output can vary wildly to fit what you need because it comes from a select document. So you can put any information from the select file in the subject, the location, or the body of an appointment. Purchases, refinances, and cash sales can all default to a different duration. Once set, users can change the duration of an appointment as necessary. Let's jump into Select and see it process a file. We'll take this file off of Estimated and save it. That's going to schedule for the 30th at 12 p.m. We'll bring up the calendar and bring up the Calendar Robot. We'll see it update in just a moment here. And then it'll appear on the calendar shortly after that. There's our update, and there we are on the calendar. We'll open it up, and since this information comes from a select document, any document developer can design a calendar view. Users can add edits simply by adding a tilde to the end of the body, the location, or the subject. So in a nutshell, that's the Calendar Robot, and that's how some people use it. Now it does a lot more than that. Let's go back to Select. We'll change to the Order Information screen that has been customized because often a closing is really 3 calendar events. So we've added custom fields for the buyers and sellers to sign. These date-time fields each use separate documents, allowing appointments to look differently based on which date it came from. The robot will automatically update when any of these date-time fields change or a monitored status level is hit from the status screen. Since the data displayed on the calendar can be anything in the file, select users need a way to update the calendar themselves. This checkbox is used to allow that control. Let's add signing information, dates and times, and see how that processes a little bit differently. And we'll have the seller sign on the 29th at 11 a.m. And we'll save that. And open up the calendar and open up the Calendar Robot, and it's already processing them, so we'll see them appear on the 29th here in just a moment. There, we've completely processed. And because signings pull from a different document, in this case we've indicated it's a signing by noting in the body that it's a borrower signing and by adding a B with a dash in the subject. So now has come time in the closing process that we want to invite attendees. We'll go back to Select and change our My Screens to an Attendees screen. Go to our closing calendar view. Select Send Attendee Appointments. And I'm going to change the time of this just so we see it move on the calendar. Normally you would select this checkbox to send this update. And we'll save it. We'll bring up our calendar, we'll bring up the calendar robot, and we'll bring up the appointment calendar where this is going to be sent once it jumps from here to there. There, we've updated it, so we have sent our appointments. We've moved, and there's our invitation coming in from the calendar, which looks exactly like what appears on our calendar. You may have heard it just show up on my iPhone. So that is sending an appointment. So there's also another way to send appointments. Let's look at a different method of that. We'll open up this calendar view. This file hasn't had anything sent on it yet, but we've pre-populated the attendees so a user can send them out from here. Clicking send at this point will allow Exchange to invite these people to the appointment. If the date or time changes, the robot will see that an update is sent. So the calendar robot also supports multiple closing location or rooms, either as shared calendars or room resources. Let me do a little bit of housekeeping here. I want to keep that on. And we'll prepare for that part of the demo. This will just take a few seconds. We'll save this and wait for it to update. We already have the correct view up there. And while we're waiting for it to update, we can change our My Screens to the Rooms My Screen. Go back to our closing calendar screen, and we've added a closing room drop down at this point. Let's check our update. We're just finishing it up. We'll go ahead and stop this process at this point. Close this view. Open up the same application, just a different setup for the video. And we'll take this off of estimated and save it. Bring up the main office. Bring up the calendar robot view. And it appears I've lost my appointment view, so we'll bring that back over real quick. And get that resized. That's our cancellation of the cleanup. So now we have scheduled for the main room. We'll see an appointment come in from VF Title main office, scheduling this closing. And as things happen in our business, these folks need to move from the main office to the south office for their closing. So we'll go ahead and do that and watch what happens there. So what's going to happen is the main office is going to send a cancellation just like this one. The south office will send an invitation. It's already shown up. The main office room will be deleted and we'll see those show up. And there we go. We have moved our closing to the south office. We have informed everybody what's going on and we're ready to go. So that pretty much wraps up the user experience with the calendar robot. We'll show you the setup screens real quick. This is where the calendars are defined. In this case, we have 10 calendars defined. And now we have 9 calendars defined. We're licensed for 10. The application comes with 5. Additional blocks of 5 are available. And this is where it all ties together. These are the status screens. This information is populated from the Select database. As we use these statuses, they appear in this status code in use box. And then we define which document this particular calendar is using. You'll see that the main room uses all of these. We'll use calendar robot main. The buyer's signings are using the Calendar Robot buyer signing, and the seller's signings are using the Calendar Robot seller signing. The Exchange calendar setup is fairly straightforward. This is where we set the duration of our appointments, whether we allow this thing to even have the ability to send an appointment. The delete status, this will delete a closing if these statuses are hit through the various status levels of Select. And just these are database options where we're connecting to the custom fields. This is set so that these custom fields that the robot uses are not set in stone. They can change from installation to installation to be able to fit your needs. So that's pretty much a full overview of the Calendar Robot when it's running in the Select platform. It also has the ability to switch over to run in the Classic platform, and that will change how the setup works pretty significantly, allow us to pull information from the user tables, and also provides only one additional date time field for a closing at this point under Classic. So we'll switch back to Select, cancel this, and thank you very much for watching this presentation today. If you have any questions, send me an email at dan@vfinfo.com. Thank you again, and I hope you have a fantastic day.